Hey guys. All right, so how do we start this intermittent fasting? I'm getting a lot of messages about this. So, the first thing you decide basically is just what 8-hour window is going to work for you. In this video, I'm going to use my own schedule as the example um, and let it guide you. We're setting up your own. And, I work from home. So, I know some of you don't have the luxury that I have when it comes to deciding when you wake up and when you work out. But you need to figure out what's going to work best for your schedule. You don't want to disrupt your schedule a whole bunch, or you're not going to be as successful with this if you're completely changing your schedule upside down. On a side note though, I do want to encourage you, if you're not currently working out in the morning, consider it. It really is the best time to do it, and I'll talk more about it later. Okay, so basically there's going to be 16 hours of the day we're fasting. There's 8 hours we're eating. There's going to be 16 hours we're fasting. And in an ideal world, we want to stop eating at least 4 hours before we go to bed. We want part of that 16 hours to be while we're sleeping, because that's going to make it easy on us, right? If part of that time we're sleeping. So you're after 4 hours before you go to sleep, you're going to stop eating. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're not going to break your fast until 4 hours after you've been awake. So for me, it looks like this. I have my first meal at 11. I have my last meal at 7. And I sleep from 11 to 6, usually around there. So I have a whole video that you'll watch later on fat burning and how to get the most out of it. But for now, just know that the best time to exercise is really first thing in the morning during that 4-hour time frame before you've eaten your first meal. You've heard people talk about fasted workouts or fasted cardio, and there's a reason for that. As a side note, if you're doing like heavy lifting as your workout in the morning, you might consider taking some BCAAs. There's not any calories in there, so it's not going to break your fast. That stands for branched chain amino acids. So you can have that before your workout in the morning, but don't eat. And then within a couple hours after your workout, you're going to want to have your first meal, and you want it to have about 20 grams of protein. I often have Shakeology as my first meal, so that takes care of that. Now, I'm a big proponent of people eating 3 meals a day, just like in the good old days. No more of this grazing all day long like people started believing we're supposed to do to keep our metabolism up. That's just not accurate. So what I do is I have breakfast at 11, I have my lunch around 2:30 or 3, and then I have dinner at 7. And I have a video, again, another video later that will explain the benefits of doing this for not just fat burning, but also your hormones. But just know it's really best for you to eat a substantial meal, get full, stay satisfied for a few hours, then develop hunger again and eat again. That's the natural way our body works. So, in a nutshell, just to recap what I said, this is what we're going to do. You need to figure out how many hours after you wake up and before you go to sleep that you're not going to be eating. I can't stress enough how important it is to get a good night's sleep and how that relates to having a lean body. So really try your best to get 8 hours. And one thing I do want to mention though is it is counterproductive to eat right before you go to bed. So at the minimum, you want to make sure you leave at least 2 hours when you stop eating before you go to bed. And then try your hardest to schedule your workouts in the morning when you're in that fasted state. And then you'll have your first meal a couple hours after that workout, which will be the first of the 3 meals for the next 8 hours. Clear as mud? Great.